Which microphone for podcasting is better? The legendary Shure SM7B or the Rode NT? In this video, I'm going to tell you what I think. What up, fam? Welcome back to Leveling Up with CMH. That's me. I want to talk to you guys about a really important subject. I get a lot of questions, a lot about what's the best microphone for podcasting. And so I've used a lot, and just to be abundantly clear, I've gone through several different microphones, primarily, and this is what I would recommend, the three brands. This is a little bonus pro tip here because I wasn't planning on talking about this, but Audio-Technica, fantastic, right? Great products from entry level all the way up, really makes a good product. I definitely recommend them for entry level. I know Blue microphone gets a lot of, street cred. I think when you compare pound for pound, entry-level microphone, Audio-Technica all the way, specifically against the Yeti. Audio-Technica, the 2100, the 2020, fantastic microphones, all sub $100. I think you're going to be in great shape. Rode, next level up, which I love Rode. Fantastic products, can't go wrong. And then the Shure, right? So those are the three brands I really recommend, depending on where you are in your journey. But today we're going to be comparing the SM7B, which is the legendary, infamous microphone. People like Joe Rogan use it. This is actually the microphone that Michael Jackson himself used to record audio. It is fantastic. That's what it's made for, is to record audio, voice content. All right. But some pros and cons to this one, and we're going to go through that, as well as this is the Rode NT microphone. So I'm going to go through pros and cons of each. I had some slides lined out for you guys to go over stuff, but honestly, I'm just going to tell you my experience with them because I feel like that's going to be more impactful versus me just kind of like going through, prepared slides and what have you. I'm just going to tell you about my experience, and hopefully you can make a decision based on that alone. And I'm also going to, a little bit later on, I'm going to cut in and I'm actually going to hook up. I'm actually recording from the SM7B right now, the one right in front of me. I'm going to hook up. I haven't hooked up my NT for several months because I upgraded to the SM7B. I'm going to hook up the Rode NT and let you guys hear the difference to see if you can tell. Right? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I think it's close enough to where I think both of them sound professional. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. You just can't, right? Especially for podcasting. So let me tell you my experience, pros and cons of each. Start with the SM7B. This is legendary for a reason. It is fantastic. It is everything you'd want it to be. I love its sleekness. I think it just looks clean. It just looks very professional. It sounds professional. And there's a reason why the biggest of the biggest names use this specific microphone. It's fantastic. But there's setbacks to it, right? So for one, it's very sleek, as I mentioned, but this is literally like what you get. This is it. This part right here is all you get, right? And to further that point, one of the things that you get with the Rode NT that you don't even get with this is, look at this, cables and a stand and even a filter that comes with it. The SM7B, there's not even a stand that comes with this thing, right? So if you don't have a mic arm, which is what I have here, and we're going to talk about that, if you don't have that or some kind of stand that you have to buy in excess of the mic or the SM7B itself, you're going to look like an idiot because you're not going to have anything to hook it up to. And then to further that point, they don't even send it with XLR cables, right? So the NT, just to be clear, the NT is a USB microphone. I'm pretty sure they make it in XLR as well, but mine specifically was a USB microphone. So usually the argument I see is people want to know USB, XLR, so you'll get a chance to hear both, which I think is great. But the SM7B doesn't even come with any XLR cables at all, meaning you can't use it unless you buy additional things. There's literally nothing you can do with it other than just have it look nice unless you buy other things. Now, if you're going to go direct XLR into whatever, you're going to need some kind of a recording device, right? Meaning you can't just take an XLR and go directly into your computer. Some of them you can go directly to your camera and just record your camera like I'm doing here. But a lot of podcasters, they're not including video content just yet. So, in terms of just getting something off the ground, it's not ideal because for them, plug and play, USB, boom, plug into your computer, your laptop, you're good anywhere, not just your home office or your studio, wherever you record from. But from anywhere in the world, right, you can just take it with you. And that was the great thing about the NT is that it comes with a little leather pouch. It's really cool. And I could just throw it in my bag and go, right? And as long as I'm on my laptop, I can record anywhere. SM7B, this is what it is. It's here. And the reason being is because I'm running this from the microphone to Mogami Gold's, which is an XLR cable, one cable into what's called a cloud lifter. And the reason I have the cloud lifter is because this is a gain monster. So if you don't know the specifics, I'm not going to get too much in the technical aspects of audio today because I myself am not an expert anyways, but also because that's not what you're here for. You want to know which is best for podcasting. So got to know the basic terms, level, gain, stuff like that. But basically, this thing sucks and requires a lot of gain, meaning you have to raise it higher. And to me, it sounds a little bit digital when you have it that high, but also you start picking up other sounds, and it just doesn't sound very good, right? So to me, the gain kind of helps balance things out a little bit. The cloud lifter helps balance things out a little bit, but it does mean that you're going to have an in-between. So you have cable, cloud lifter, another cable out, and that cable has to go to some kind of recording device. All right, so that recording device that I use, what's actually taking in where I do all the settings and change things and so on and so forth, is on my Rodecaster Pro, which is a soundboard or a mixer, right? And so in here, I can do all kinds of things, advanced settings. There's a de-esser. You can actually change it based off the tone of your voice, how loud you talk, if you have a deep voice, high-pitched voice. I mean, you can do a lot of really cool things, advanced settings, with the Rodecaster Pro. And there's a big record button, so you can't miss that, right? It's right there. So I can record, and I do record the video you're watching. I'm recording locally to the Rodecaster Pro. And that's a phenomenal way to do it because then you've got a backup file, right? If you're recording something on Zoom with a remote guest or something like that, and it crashes, sometimes you might have it, sometimes you won't as far as your actual recording. So at least with locally, if something gets distorted or there's audio drift or all the various issues that you might experience recording with a remote guest, you've got the local file here. It records into a mini SD card. You basically just say, because it's hooked up with a USB cable from the Rodecaster to your computer. I'm running an Aurora R9 from Alienware. So basically what you can do is, my computer's shutting down randomly, I have no idea. I think I'm doing updates. But randomly, what you can do though is you can easily just sync that file to your computer quickly like that. So it's really, really cool, but it is an extra step. And it is an extra expense. This is not cheap. It's $550, $600 range, right, for the Rodecaster Pro. In addition to the cost of the microphone, in addition to the cost of the cables, in addition to the cost of the cloud lifter, and in addition to the cost of the mic arm. So you're literally probably looking at, my guess, and I think what I have sunk into just that alone, not counting my Aurora R9, which was thousands and thousands of dollars, a very expensive, processing device, computer. You're probably looking at over $1,000. And I think people get confused because they see, oh, I can get a SM7B for $375, $425 range. I've seen it kind of fluctuate a little bit. But $400, I can have the best mic on the market. Yeah, but not really, right? Because you're not getting all those other things too that come with it. It's not truly out of the box. I'll actually show you to prove that point. I'm going to show you the box that it came in. So you've got some paperwork, basic stuff here. Here's where the microphone came in, this little styrofoam thing, and you've got a pop filter here, an extra pop filter. That's it. That's all it comes with. So to me, if you're just getting started with a podcast and you don't have all this, setup already in place, or you're not expecting to have that kind of investment, you might feel a little misled, and you might kind of feel like, what do I need all this stuff for, right? So yeah, the audio is fantastic, and I think it sounds tremendous. I think, bang for buck wise, like, you're going to sound like radio quality. And I think, immediately when I started using this microphone, people would say, man, you have a voice for radio. And I'm like, maybe, but I really think it has a lot to do with just having a phenomenal microphone. So yes, it is the holy grail of audio recording. Yes, it is the holy grail of specifically voice recording. For podcasts, you cannot do better. But kind of know what it comes with, kind of know what you're getting yourself into. So I'm going to pause real quick, and then I'm going to show you guys what the Rode NT sounds like so you can make a decision. I'm going to tell you what I would do and when I would consider each, because again, I have used both. So cut. All right, this is the Rode NT. This is a phenomenal microphone, guys. Let me go ahead and talk to you about just some of the specifics of this microphone. So a couple things you'll notice, and I'll be showing you some cutaways here to show you what the product looks like, but it comes, this is everything. What you see right now is what this comes with, right? This is straight out of the box. Okay, so you got a stand, a nice little tripod stand for it. You've got this nice pop screen, all right? And you've got obviously the microphone itself, but you also get the pretty long USB cable, right? So you could wrap it around if you want to store it somewhere, whatever. If you want to, pull it up, if you want to put it on the Rode PSA 1, which is my mic arm here. If you want to put it on that, well, you've got that, because you could actually wrap, as you can see, I've got the cable here lined up on the PSA 1. Well, this cable's long enough on the Rode NT that you could do the same thing, the exact same thing. And it's made for this specific Rode obviously makes Rode for Rode products. So it's an easy transition. It's in a phenomenal setup. Honestly, out of the box, guys, this is a $200 microphone. You got all of this stuff that comes with it, and you're going to spend maybe, I think, $100 on the PSA-1. So you're in $300 and you're ready to rock and roll, and you've got a really legitimate setup. If you want to go the extra mile, you can add this, which is called a shock mount. It's actually by Rode as well. So your Rode NT fits right inside of this, and basically what you're going to do is it just mounts right onto your PSA-1. The Rode NT drops right inside, and you've got a baller setup. If you guys go back and watch previous episodes that I did, that was my setup for probably 200 episodes. So I got total utility out of that for a grand total of maybe $100 for the PSA-1. I think I got this on sale for like $195, $185 kind of deal, the actual microphone. And then that, yeah, so probably $250-ish range with this, with extra $100, $350 total, probably $350, $400 range is probably accurate. So sub $500 for this whole awesome, legitimate, baller sounding, right? So I think one of the things you'll notice is that there's not a major significant downgrade, albeit there is a downgrade from the SM7B, but it's still suitable, right? So a couple of things you'll notice: sleek, really awesome design with this thing. You will notice that on the sides, you've got your things you can do to manipulate the sound, right? Whether it's the sound coming in or the sound coming from your computer right here on the side dials of this microphone. So you don't have to have like a soundboard or mixer, like something like I have with everything I have is Rode except for the microphone, but I have the Rode soundboard here that I mentioned, right? And that actually manipulates the things you want to do. Now, you could, if you wanted to, you can go Rode XLR, right? And I'm pretty sure they make the NT with XLR into the Rode mixer over here, right? You could do that, and that way you would have a legit, like really ridiculous setup. Going the extra mile, you could build into what you've already done, right? So you could go straight into the Rodecaster Pro, right, from your Rode NT. That would be the next level up, and then eventually you get the Shure SM7B if you really want to take it over the top. I've not tried the XLR version of this microphone. Now, I will say this. You say, well, Chris, why can't you use the Rode NT into your Rodecaster Pro if you wanted to go that route? To my knowledge, and I've looked all over this thing, you might have to have an adapter, but I don't see a place where a USB goes into the Rodecaster Pro. Again, I don't know. I've not used in that capacity. Maybe there is, but I'm looking here and I just do not see a generic USB, inbound port that I could plug the NT into. So that might be something to further research. That's obviously not what we're here to talk about today, but maybe something to look into. I can't imagine they built a product that doesn't work with their own devices. So maybe there is a way to do it. I would, again, further look into that and research it. But anyway, so let's continue to talk about this microphone. One thing that I made a mistake about, and something you want to look into and make sure that you don't do if you buy this microphone, is both the front and the back look the same, but they're not. So this SM7B, you can talk into any side or which way, or you can talk to the front, the side. I mean, as long as your mouth is facing the microphone, you're totally good. It's going to pick up the sound. Not so much with the NT. If I turn this thing around, check this out. Watch. Do you hear the difference? Like, I'm far away. Let me get closer and see if it sounds different. But basically, I've done this before. I was almost called Rode or sent them a support message and said, guys, I think I broke my microphone. I think I did something to it. But the fact of the matter is that I had it reversed. I just had it turned around backwards because it looks so similar. So the only thing you'll notice is that you'll have this little silver dot here on the front, and you have the actual Rode emblem down at the bottom of the front face of the microphone. So that's how you can kind of decide or remind yourself, okay, the mic is facing me. I know it sounds ridiculous, but guys, when you're bouncing all over the place and recording remote and doing this and that, sometimes stuff happens. You just throw it on, you rock and roll, you just go. So that's one thing you have to remember with this microphone that's different than other microphones. Other microphones, you just talk anywhere. This one, you need to talk directly into the front face of the microphone, or it will not pick up your voice in the same capacity. But as far as travel, guys, one other thing that you get with this that comes with it, I'm almost positive, comes with the microphone itself. And make sure as you check the box assortment, it comes in a pretty substantial box, right? It comes in a pretty good sized box here. It comes with a lot of different things in it. So one of the things that you'll see is, and it might come with this again, just make sure it doesn't say it on the box, and I don't remember, it's been several years, but one of the things you'll notice is that it might come with this little leather pouch, or you can buy it as an add-on for like 10 or 15 bucks if you do have to buy it separately. The good thing about that is that I can throw it in the pouch, right? And then I can just kind of travel however I need to, throw it in my bag and go. The only negative to that is that the pouch does not fit the stand or this pop screen, right? And so the problem with that is yeah, I'm protecting my microphone, but this thing gets scratched to hell. So I actually have some chips on the front of my screen here, and it's because of that, because I travel with it and I use it. But again, when we talk about the Shure SM7B versus the Rode NT mic, for travel purposes, just getting the microphone there, it's definitely far more suitable, far more practical. And since it's a USB microphone and not an XLR, I can just plug it into a laptop and just record anywhere I'm at, right? Now, let's talk about the difference between the XLR and the USB. It is a significantly inferior, I don't want to say significantly, I don't know that, but it is an inferior form of transmission in terms of transmitting a signal, right? So it's not going to be that same crisp audio sound that you're going to get with any XLR microphone, unless it's like a really cheap entry-level mic. And even then, guys, I've seen some of the Audio-Technica mics, entry-level XLR, they kind of sound just as good as a USB mic. It's just you don't have that convenience. So make the best decision for you, whether it's XLR or USB. Just know the pros and cons. Play with them, hear the difference. You obviously can hear the difference here today. It's not as solid, right? And in my, not my opinion, the technology is not as solid as XLR. XLR is just an inferior or a superior way of transmitting a signal. So that's definitely something you want to look into and something you want to consider. But let me tell you this. So let's go ahead and sum this up. Let's go ahead and summarize this thing, because I think you've got a pretty good impression of both. What I would do is this. I would analyze what you're trying to do with your audio content, right? Because here's the deal. Last thing I want to see you do is invest thousands of dollars. And guys, the statistics are, and I'm not trying to like deter you from starting, a podcast or something like that, but the statistics are is that something like 80% of the podcasts that are submitted to Apple Podcasts don't get past 20 episodes. And I've worked with people, and people have paid me to help them get their tech stack and get everything sorted and figure out their show and figure out how to get guests and stuff like that have given up after 12 episodes, and they spent thousands and thousands of dollars. So I don't want to see you do that. That's the last thing I want to see happen. So what I would do is this. I would find as minimal as an investment as you can possibly make. Maybe start with an Audio-Technica and then work your way up to this, right? And just sell them. Sell them on eBay or whatever when you're done using them. You probably sell them for a pretty reasonable price after for use. Even if it's, you lose $100 on it, you probably got $100 worth of utility. I would control my investment on the front end. If you find that podcasting is your thing and you really want to pursue it further, then you go make the big boy investment with the Shure SM7B. But I recorded plenty. Honestly, guys, my show trended top 5 in the world on iTunes under business, health, and education. We landed guests like Damon John, Barbara Corcoran, Grant Cardone, Guy Kawasaki. I mean, some of the biggest names in entrepreneurship, Marie Forleo, dude, you name it. Like, we've had some huge, Jack Canfield, we've had some huge guests on the show. And a lot of people don't realize this, but I recorded those conversations with like a Yeti, right? And some of the big ones early on, I was actually sitting in a closet because my acoustics were terrible with those microphones. So you'll notice the higher you get, the less things you have to worry about, like controlling your environment around you, right? You're going to probably hear a little bit more reverb and echo than what you heard with the SM7B. So you will notice little things like that, but I wouldn't worry about it, guys. I would just get it professionally sounding as possible, play with the different options, listen to different people, notice what microphone they're using, make the best fiscally responsible decision for where you're at in your specific journey, and you cannot go wrong. Again, Audio-Technica, Rode, whatever the Rode products, there's a million of them. There's the Procaster, the Podcaster, the Rode NT. I mean, you go, the Pod Mic, which is their, one of their latest, like newest, they have a new version that just came out that's really good. So play with all of them. My wife, sometimes some microphones, she sounds better than other microphones, and mine is completely different than the ones that work well for her. So find out what works for you, analyze your budget, and make a smart fiscal decision. I think you're going to go, as you can tell, I think listening to this, you can't go wrong, right? These are great products. These are great companies that they have a great reputation. So hope this video was helpful, guys. Make sure you guys like this video and also subscribe to the channel. Tell me what microphone you use below in the comments. And if you want more videos like this, again, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. I'm actually going to be talking to you guys more about podcasting specifically. And also, if you want to be checking out my interviews, all of them rather, are posted on this channel. And I'll start giving you guys some insider tips, right? How I get some of the big guests I've got on the show, how I conduct, how I get ready for questions, right? How do I record remote interviews? All these various things that have gone into the nuance of running a successful podcast. We're going to be sharing with you guys on this channel. So make sure you guys subscribe for future episodes. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.